Tight guard right here. The main thing that I'm looking to do is get myself a clear lane out here, okay? The elbow is gonna be where I'm trying to aim for. I don't wanna roll all the way over onto my side. So if you'll notice, he hits this reverse de la Riva position. I bring my knee inside and I still wanna kinda cave in on him just enough to where I'm comfortable and I have the opportunity to kind of lurch forward. I don't wanna have too much weight on him, because if I start going over him like this, he's got this elevator from the reverse and he can kind of offset me in. This is back, okay? So keeping my weight back is very important. I got a shin right up here kind of on his butt. Hamstring is turned, or knee is turned into the hamstring. And then I'm right up underneath here and I'm kind of keeping my weight back. And I want to get my first engage grip here on the collar because it's eventually going to slide in deeper, all right? So from here, I'm looking at coming this direction here. I'm heavy down, got my basic collar grip. I'm gonna start to kind of tilt to one side and then I'm looking at rolling out and I'm gonna launch out and hang tight on the back of this leg here. Now this hand is gonna roll a little bit higher as soon as I hit my back, all right? Don't wanna bring my head up. Start bringing your head up, everything starts to work right back up in upside underneath you and you lose your pass. We'll deal with this lower leg here in just a second. So reverse de la Riva, depending on what we got here, we're just kind of a loose foot in bicep. I'm collar grip here. All I'm looking at doing is launching down to where I'm out. Okay, and notice, I'm not rolling over on my back. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just down low, keeping my head super low. We call this a low level pass, okay? Once I get to here, I want to feed up a little bit higher in the back of the collar. Head's gonna stay down. From this position here, I don't have to worry about this knee because where's my head at relative to it? Huh? Below it. If I get my head up here and I start trying to drive back in, he can shoot this hand up underneath, fish underhooks, he can come back up, I've got a problem. We call this low level because my face is scraping the floor. I'm super low level. So I'm here, I'm playing super low, okay? Once I know I've defeated this knee and he's not gonna skirt this back inside, the problem that I have is these guys trying to push off of me and hit this hip escape and get the knee back inside to recompose their guard. I have to deal with that, all right? I've got to deal with it. Okay, so remember, we're right here. Now I've got to figure out how to come back up to kind of my tripod position and complete my pass. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. Okay, so we need to be super, super low. So on the first stage of this, we're kind of just settling in. There's no specific place that I need to be. So something about the long step. Historically, you watch the guys that are the greatest at this, okay? I would say, obviously, one of the greatest I've ever seen being Ted Ed, okay? The explosive long steps. One thing that he did in the evolution of the long step that's totally different now is you saw these big acrobatic, boom, honking long steps, like massive rotational long steps. What have I always said is the problem with these long steps?
You gotta come back.
Exactly. It's just like, I mean, anything else like fishing. The farther you throw it out there, what do we gotta do? We gotta reel it back in, right? So the farther that's out there, the more I have to pull this in to get it back into the game, okay? The revolution of this for me, where I saw the revolution of this is, was with Hobson Moore. It was just absolute beautiful, what he called a short step. Well, no long step, same motion, same hip rotation, same explosion, same everything, but it was just a boom. It was just really, really short. So that everything's compact right here so I can drive back in. I don't have to recoil this leg to start to get a post and drive off of it. Okay? So we're gonna rotate over the elbow. Elbow being our first point. I'm here, head is down. Now I'm gonna feed up under that collar. Why do I wanna go back high up under the collar instead of staying down here on the low side of the collar, which is what I originally had? Control. Absolutely, I got head control, okay? So from right here, he can still drive away, he can still create some space. There's a lot of stuff he can do. I don't really have very good control of his head. He can move his head any which way he wants. He can dive it underneath me, he can do whatever he wants. Once I'm down right here and I go ahead and slide this hand on back up to the far side of the back of the collar, now I've glued this head here. He's not going away from me anyway. So if I start to come back up to finish my tripod, he decides he wants to get long and start to scoot away from me, that head is going nowhere. Okay, but I'm down here on the lower part of the collar, he decides to push off my head or my shoulders, he can do that, and now he gets his knee back inside, and there's your failed long step. Okay? So a very important thing that we have to remember if we're going to play the long step game is we have to make that adjustment on the collar once we hit the ground. Why can't we do it from the top? Why can't I get a acceptable grip from right here before I hit my long step? Okay, well, start reaching back here, what happens to my weight? Right? It's a very big tipping point right there, and I've tried that numerous times. You gotta remember, you're sitting on an elevator. We want to be in a position where we can stay back here, okay? Much easier. But if I start reaching deeper into that collar, I get much more over that elevator, and there's where we have the problems. And so I don't want that. So get that reverse de la Riva. They're playing around over here, whatever they're doing. The beauty of the long step, let's say he lassos. Beauty of the long step is that the lasso doesn't really affect it, right? I can pull my hand around the backside, and he's still got the lasso. He's not letting go. Here's my long step attempt. Am I already long stepping? Absolutely. He's still got that lasso, but now I adjust. Okay? Now I can just drive in and complete my pack. Right? So it doesn't affect it. Good thing about the long step is it goes right around that. Right? First thing we're going to do, we're going to get to our position. I want you to feel the elevation there. Feel the capability. Then I'm going to ask you to reach deep. Then I'm going to have your partner elevate. And I want you to be able to hit that teetering point. Then we're going to kick the long step here in just a second. We'll finish. Ready? 1, 2, 3.